Hey there, Heather. Hello there. It's Jeff Cutter Diary. Welcome you to another Stone Cold Hockey tournament. And as you see, all of my seasons that I have, all that 65, 68, 71, 75, 84, 91, 94, 06, 12, 22, and 23. All 11 seasons that Stone Cold Hockey has released for the NHL, I have. And then you're seeing the CCL, which is like the thing that's within it. But you see this thing called the Kitchener Rangers playoff battle? You may be wondering what that is. I'll show you. So, it's a playoffs with certain teams. There are some teams. Now, what I did, we'll go to Anaheim first because that's Anaheim. So, what happened was that I came up with another bright idea. So, I decided to, like when I did my seasonal thing and talked about, and I did the 94 New York Rangers refread, which they lost to the Leafs in the Cup final, which was not planned, mind you. I had done some tournaments and all that, and then it just dawned on me. There's one catchphrase I have for Stone Cold Hockey, and that's the word Kitchener. If you hear me say Kitchener, I say anytime a former Kitchener Ranger scored a goal, I yell out Kitchener and all that. So it dawned on me. It's like of the 11 seasons I have, how many teams have a former Kitchener Ranger on there? So what I did was I painstakingly went through and tried to remember one team per franchise of the 32 teams. Now I know Seattle and Vegas off the top of my head did not have a Kitchener Ranger play for that team, or at least for that season. So they were off. So I had 30, so I needed two extra teams. But then when I did my research, I found out that Ottawa, San Jose, and the Minnesota Wild of the seasons I have of the 11 seasons I have, they don't have a Kitchener Ranger on their squad. All that. So that meant they couldn't do it. So I took those so I was looking for five spare teams. Philadelphia, New York, Montreal, the Minnesota North Star / Dallas, and Buffalo have two teams in to make 32. All right, so let's go through the teams. All right, so first off is the 2022 Anaheim Ducks, and the Kitchener Ranger involved plays goalie. His name is John Gibson, who was a great Kitchener Ranger goalie, probably the best Kitchener Ranger goalie around, like the best former Kitchener Ranger goalie to be in NHL history. I mean, no disrespect to Don Edwards and Steve Mason, but it's got to be John Gibson. You have the 2012 Boston Bruins, and sandwiched between Dan Paille and Jordan Caron is a Kitchener Ranger who played for the 2003 Memorial Cup champions. That would be Gregory Campbell, who is a pretty good penalty killer. 75 Sabres, as you see there, have two former Kitchener Rangers. As Don Luce and Jim Lorenz, both are Kitchener Rangers. Luce, fourth on the pecking order. Jim Lorenz, number 8. So those two played for the Kitchener Rangers. The second Buffalo team is the 2023 team, as you can see, and seeing third on the scoring behind Tage Thompson and Alex Tuch is one Jeff Skinner, who played for the Kitchener Rangers. 94 Calgary, you see there. And you see tucked between Joe Nundyk and German Titov is a defenseman by the name of Alan McGinnis, who came from Nova Scotia to play for Kitchener and was part of the 1982 Memorial Cup champions, mind you. 2012 Carolina, there's Jeff Skinner, second in line behind Eric Stahl for scoring. He started his career with Carolina. It's hard to believe that Jeff Skinner is going to be in 1,000 NHL games, and he has never been in a playoff game. Weird. 84 Chicago. There's a guy between Steve Lutzek and Rick Patterson. His name is Jeff Larmer. He played for the 82 Kitchener Rangers when they won the Stanley Cup. Memorial Cup, what am I thinking? So that's why that team's on there. 22 Colorado. You see not one, but two Kitchener Rangers. Behind McKinnon is Gabriel Landeskog and Nazem Kadri. Both are Kitchener Rangers. former Kitchener Rangers. So, yep, that's huge. Columbus 2012, you see all the players, but do you see in goal, ahead of Curtis Sanford, Alan York, and Sean Hunwick is Steve Mason. He's a Kitchener Ranger. He played for the Kitchener Rangers. 2022 Dallas Stars, sandwiched between Miro Heiskanen and Esa Lindell, is a center by the name of Radek Faksa. He's a former Kitchener Ranger. Detroit, the 94 team, sandwiched between Steve Yzerman and Steve Chason, RIP, Chason, is Paul Coffey. And yes, Paul Coffey was a Kitchener Ranger. He spent some time in Missouri, and then in 1980 he was traded to the Kitchener Rangers, played half a season with the Rangers. But that counts. 84 Edmonton, there's Paul Coffey. Fourth on the pecking order. He is obviously there. 94 Florida is on the team, but sandwiched between Brian Benning and Bill Lindsay is Mike Huh, left winger, former Quebec Nordique. But the fact of the matter is that Huh did play for Kitchener, and he was part of the 1982 Memorial Cup. 2012 Los Angeles Kings, who won the Stanley Cup, put fourth on the pecking order behind Kopitar, Williams, and Brown is Mike Richards, who the Flyers traded to LA because of behavior problems, and it bit the Flyers in the butt. 91 Minnesota, as in the Minnesota North Stars. Behind Dave Gagne is Brian Bellows, left winger, but Brian Bellows was a former Kitchener Ranger, so that's why he's there. 75 Montreal. A pair of Kitchener Rangers behind Bob Gainey, between Bob Gainey and Glenn Saver. Doug Riseborough, the center, he was former Kitchener Ranger, and Larry Robinson, former Kitchener Ranger as well. The 94 Habitants have two. Brian Bellows there, and number 5 on the pecking order is Gilbert Dion, just ahead of John LeClair, who was a Montreal Canadian, by the way. People forget about that. I don't know what Bill's thinking about, but whatever. 94 Canadiens. 2012 Nashville, as you see there. Sandwiched between Colin Wilson and Craig Smith is a former Kitchener Ranger by the name of Matt Halischuk. I think Nick Spaulding. Is Nick Spaulding? I don't remember if Nick Spaulding is from Kitchener Ranger or he's from Kitchener. I think he's from Kitchener. 94 Devils. Sandwiched between Bertie Nichols and Claude Lemieux on the scoring line is Scott Stevens, former Kitchener Ranger. And 5th overall pick, if memory serves me right. 91 New York Islanders. Now you got to look way down between Brad Garno and Gary Nyland on the scoring thing. His name is John Tucker, and yes, he was part of the 82 Kitchener Rangers that won the Memorial Cup. So John Tucker. Because of that, he's eligible. And that's why there's an Islanders team. There's 2 Kitchener Ranger teams. Well, 2 New York Ranger teams. Will Kachuk, who's third behind Bowland and Gilbert on the scoring thing. The great Will Kachuk. And yes, Rod Sealing down there behind Eagers. Yeah, Jack Eagers. I think Jack Eagers was a Kitchener Ranger too. Yeah, Jack Eagers played for Kitchener too, and Rod Seeley. So 3 Kitchener Rangers on that team. The 75 team, Kachuk was more of a defensive player between Brad Park and Ron Greshner on the list. And I don't see the other 2 guys. Rod Seeley, I guess, left for another team. 75 Flyers, you see there. And third on the list behind Leach and McLeish for the scoring is Bill Barber. And yes, Bill Barber was a former Kitchener Ranger. For the 2006 Flyers, between Hans Such and Brian Savage is Mike Richards. Now, a lot of people are like, Richards didn't play in 06 for the Flyers, right? Well, he was drafted in 03 by the Flyers in that great 03 draft. 2012 Phoenix, you see. Oh, really? Oh, there he is. Between Lang Howell and Taylor Pyatt is Michael Bodker, former Kitchener Ranger, who scored 2 overtime goals. Is it 2? Yeah, he scored 2 overtime goals for the Coyotes against the Blackhawks in the first round of the playoffs. It was invigorating hearing Chris Cuthbert say on one of the overtime goals, the goal by the ex-Kitchener Ranger, and it was like fantastic. 91 Pittsburgh Penguins, yeah, Paul Coffey played for the 91 Penguins. He's fifth on the scoring list. Well, John Collins has a slash because Collins did not end his season with the Penguins. So that's the 91 Penguins. The 22 St. Louis Blues have a defenseman way down on the list by the name of Robert Bertuzzo. Because he's a Kitchener Ranger, he counts. And that's how St. Louis got that team. 94 Tampa Bay. Second season in the league. Behind Peter Klima for the scoring thing and ahead of Danton Cole is one Brian Bradley. He was a former Kitchener Ranger. I always put the 91 Leafs in because I know Bradley played for the 91 Leafs, but he did not end his career with the season with the Leafs, so that did not. The 2012 team, you'd be thinking, there's no Kitchener Ranger. Well, yeah, Nazem Kadri played for the team. He's behind Franson and Hanif Gunnarsson for the scoring thing. Kadri was not really well known. So he qualifies. The 91 Canucks, that's where one Brian Bradley was. But why does he have a slash? I thought Brian Bradley ended his time with Vancouver. Did he not play? Huh. I thought Brian Bradley ended the season with the Canucks. Hmm. Yeah, Vancouver and Toronto. They got traded from Vancouver to Toronto. But why did they not count Bradley? Okay, well it didn't matter because, well, I knew the 91 Canucks had Jim Sandlak between Peter Nevin and Gino Ojek. I knew Sandlak played for the Canucks, so that counts. 84 Washington. Scott Stevens started his career as a member of the Washington Capitals, so he's behind Larry Murphy and had a Doug Jarvis on the list. And then Winnipeg 2022, there's a defenseman by the name of Logan Stanley. That's why he's there. So got that. Now I kind of randomly put the seeding on the teams. So the 94 Flames take on the 91 Canucks. The 84 Capitals take on the 84 Blackhawks. The 91 Islanders take on the 2012 Predators. The 22 Dallas Stars take on the 75 Rangers. The 71 Rangers take on the 91 North Stars. 2022 Winnipeg takes on 94 Detroit. 2022 Anaheim takes on 75 Montreal. 94 Montreal versus 94 Florida. 2012 LA versus 23 Buffalo. 2012 Columbus against 75 Buffalo. 22 St. Louis against 22 Colorado. 06 Flyers against 84 Oilers. 2012 Phoenix against 2012 Carolina. 2012 Toronto versus 2012 Boston. 94 Devils versus 91 Penguins. And 75 Flyers against 94 Lightning. So that's the stuff. And we'll play through the playoffs next video. I promise you. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond.